could feel it. A thinning deep in the fabric. This neighborhood got caught in a loop.
Based on Clive Barker's short story, The Forbidden, Nia DaCosta's Candyman, written by her, Jordan Peele and Rosenfeld, is a direct continuation of Bernard Rose's 1992 film of the same name, starring Todd as the titular spirit of vengeance. While Barker's original story focused on the British class system in contemporary Liverpool, Rose transposed the adaptation to revolve around the neglected housing developments in Chicago. Put simply, Candyman is a manifestation of generational pain and injustice, and bees are his calling card.
Come with me and be immortal.
In the original film, we follow Helen, a graduate student completing a thesis on urban legends and folklore, as well as their connection to a string of crimes that have haunted the Cabrini Green housing development for years. This leads her to the legend of the Candyman, the ghost of an artist and the son of a slave who was murdered for his relationship with a white woman that she bears a striking resemblance to.
The legend first appeared in 1890. Candyman was the son of a slave, that he was commissioned by a wealthy landowner to capture his daughter's virginal beauty. Well, of course, they fell deeply in love and she became pregnant. Father executed a terrible revenge.
After being caught, his arm was severed and his body was smeared with honeycomb taken from an apiary, leading to his death by a swarm of bees before he was set alight. While Helen initially dismisses the historical accuracy of the legend, she ends up discovering that Candyman is in fact real. Summoned after someone repeats the name Candyman 5 times in front of a mirror, his invoked spirit appears in the reflection and kills whoever spoke his name.
You are not content with the stories, so I was obliged to come.
Worse still, the spirit torments her to madness and begins committing heinous murders that Helen gets institutionalized for.
I am the writing on the wall, the whisper in the classroom. Without these things, I am nothing. So now I must shed innocent blood. Come with me.
The Candyman then offers her a trade. He will release a baby named Anthony that he'd planned on sacrificing, provided she helped him strike fear in the hearts of Cabrini Green residents, but soon goes back on his word, hoping to burn both Helen and Anthony in an attempt to feed his legend. Helen ultimately betrays Candyman and sacrifices her life to save Anthony, and through her death, becomes a part of the Candyman hive folklore.
What's the matter, Trevor? Scared of something?
Much like David Gordon Green's Halloween, the newer century disregards the sequels and inserts itself as a direct follow-up. In it, we follow Anthony McCoy, now an adult, working as an artist in the gentrified Cabrini Green. Curiously, much like Candyman prior to his death, Anthony was moved from Cabrini Green to the south side of Chicago, where his mother hoped to erase their history. But after a curious encounter with the legend, his future and past collide, leaving a trail of bodies in their wake. Living and working with his girlfriend, Brianna Cartwright, an art gallery director, the visual artist becomes obsessed about the legend of a child that was saved from the flames, unaware that the child in the story was him. Due to the fact that an understanding of the original film is necessary to follow this plot, the film inserts some interesting shadow puppet sequences to help fill in the gaps. Looking for inspiration on the myth, Anthony investigates the neighborhood and bumps into William Burke, a laundrette owner that introduces him to the story of Candyman. As a child, Burke had a terrifying encounter with a hook-handed man named Sherman that the police were after for putting razor blades in candy and giving it to children. Alerting the police to his location, Burke watched on as they beat Sherman to death. But when more children began receiving candy with razor blades, everyone in Cabrini Green realized that it was Candyman all along. Anthony uses this story as inspiration for an art installation, but much to his dismay, the piece doesn't attract much buzz. That is, until Brianna's co-workers say Candyman's name 5 times and are slaughtered right in front of Anthony's work. Now in the collective psyche of a number of people who decide to test the myth, including a group of teenage girls, one of whom had visited the installation the night before, and an art critic, Candyman reappears and kills them using his hook. While this is happening, Anthony, whose paintings become more macabre, begins to undergo a physical metamorphosis as a result of a bee sting he suffered in Cabrini Green. Visiting the hospital to treat the scab that was mysteriously spreading over his body, he's informed that his mother had lied about his place of birth. Confronting her, Anthony learns that he was the child from the story that had possessed him, and then reveals that Helen had saved his life and the community had vowed never to speak of what had happened, an act that had weakened the Candyman's power until Anthony's curiosity paved the way for his return. Concerned about Anthony, Brianna heads to the laundrette, but is subdued by Burke and taken to an abandoned church, where Anthony's body continues to deteriorate. Burke reveals that not only did he witness the police beat Sherman to death, but he also witnessed Sherman return as Candyman, the butcher's older sister, when she summoned him in the bathroom mirror of their apartment. Sawing off Anthony's right arm and replacing it with a hook, he explains that his plan is to create a new legend, one in which Candyman is an instrument of vengeance rather than a symbol of pain and suffering. To this end, he calls the police and reveals their location, knowing full well that they would kill Anthony, thereby enabling him to become a part of the Candyman hive, like Helen and Sherman before him. Brianna escapes and stabs Burke to death before Anthony is shot to death by the police. Cuffing her and putting her in the back of a car, one of the officers tries to intimidate her into agreeing that Anthony had attacked them, but she uses the rearview mirror to summon Anthony, now the Candyman, who kills all the officers. With more cops arriving, Anthony takes on the appearance of Tony Todd's Candyman and tells Brianna to tell everyone, ensuring his spirit lives on. The ending essentially confirms that Tony Todd's Candyman is the original man behind the myth, and not another extension like Anthony, Helen, and Sherman, who through their actions have strengthened the legend. To me, Candyman sort of exists as an intergenerational reminder of violence and injustice. While his actions are extreme, his legend safeguards the story of so many who, like him, had nobody to save them from the wretches of society. In the end, Burke's plan, which intentionally mirrors the intent of the filmmakers, succeeded in transforming Candyman from a spirit that preyed on his own community to one that protected it. Carrying the legacy of Rose's 1992 film, DaCosta's movie gives us another twisted addition to the hive while paving the way for Todd's return.
It's not just about entertainment value, it's also about making something that's going to be important, making something that's going to cause you to think and cause you to have conversations, similarly to the way I guess Anthony would like for his art to speak to the world.
Yahya Abdul-Mateen II of Watchmen and Aquaman fame is a force in this. He's got this burgeoning intensity and charm that make him the perfect vessel to portray a tortured artist on the verge of madness. The addition of Tony Todd, Vanessa Williams, the actress who played Anthony's mother in the original film and has not aged a damn day since, and the voice of Virginia Madsen also helped tether this film to the core ethos of the legend.
The story of Candyman is so perennial, and that's part of the reason why it's exciting to tell it in any time period, from the origin of the story itself in the context of the first film, in the 1890s to now. What we're talking about, I think, is the cycles of violence and how history repeats itself and how we collectively grieve and collectively process trauma, which is through stories. So I think it's always a time to tell a story like Candyman, which is, kind of the big tragedy of the tale in the first place.
DaCosta, who's set to take on the upcoming film The Marvels, does an amazing job of crafting a highly effective and thought-provoking thriller that embraces the body horror of the legend and the cultural milieu that he inhabits. He's a cyclical urban legend for the ages, a spirit of vengeance, the Candyman. Well, that's all for today, folks. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and let me know what you guys thought of the film in the comments below. As always, it's been a pleasure. Niyat here with Film Comics Explained. Thanks for stopping by.
My victim.